Rule Possession District Number 2, regular meeting dated September 27, 2021 is called to order. Madam Secretary, roll call please.
Mr. Forrest?
Here.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Here.
Mr. Joseph?
Present.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew?
Here.
Mr. Wells?
Here.
Mr. Vial?
Here.
Ms. Hyde? Here. Ms. Coates?
Here.
Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. Public input, anyone wishing to address any agenda item? No one responded. Adoption of minutes, regular meeting dated August 23rd, 2021. Double motion. Motion by Mr. Wells, second by Mr. Bruno. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Here. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. So, Manship Farm Islands, commercial station cleanup.
Yes, sir. Look, the Manship station took major damage to the station. The insurance company had gotten with us and recommended that we start an emergency cleanup. They did go in and gut 4 feet up the walls and then clean and sanitize the station. So we did have to do an emergency cleanup, an emergency order to get it cleaned. And there was a contract involved that I spoke to Mr. Joseph about it. It was $8,939 to do the cleanup on the station.
Was it clean to your? You never.
You was set the contract. I was set the contract. It was $8,939, which was the quote for the original contract to be done. Met with George one time, and he did request the company to come back. It was Janet King to come back. They did come back and fulfilled their part of the contract. I spoke to Chief Coxon about it. He said he was satisfied with the work that was done after the second time.
You in charge? Okay.
Good.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Kellis, second by Ms. Hyde. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yeah.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Motion passes, so ordered. Hustle Farm Islands, ratification of approval of a full-time position.
Yes, sir. The Hustler Fire Chief Vernon, had submitted the paperwork for an individual to be ratified at $10 per hour full-time.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Forrest, second by Mr. Mayhew. Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Motion passes and it's so ordered. Loranja Farm Matters, another emergency station cleanup.
Yes, sir. This is the station on East Cooper Road. The station was totally demolished. It was totaled.
Yeah.
The tree fell on the station. We did have a truck that was stuck in the station. So to get the truck out, we had to have the company, the Grasshoppers, they were insured and gave us a quote to come take and remove the trees. And that was at $7,500. I did speak to Justin concerning this and had Justin go back and inspect it. They were able to remove the truck. Fortunately, the truck was not damaged. It just, the station was totally wiped out.
So, and Justin, the tree trimmers today took that old nasty pine tree that was left over on the other side, so they got that out.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bruno, who's second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Kellis. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yep.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yep.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. So you satisfied with it, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Monthly reports and registers?
It should have been emailed to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
They were? Okay, good deal.
Ms. Wells, make the motion to accept. No, we okay?
No, I didn't make it.
Okay. just say, oh, you got it?
I just asked a question, answer, I told
Did the
her.
rest of y'all get you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
What email?
Yeah, the financials.
The financial report from the fire.
Yeah.
You good, John?
He don't know.
Yeah, it's a while.
We'll let you know we did.
Are you gonna read over them right now?
Y'all had,
He's not gonna read all those now before we vote.
we'll find out
Whenever you get
tomorrow.
done
We'll
reading.
leave,
Yeah.
we'll read.
All right, administrator's report.
All right, so the administrator's report, look, it's been a rough month for us, so this is the first time I'll be able to report on some of the damage to the stations that we've had, some issues that we've had. So if I could just start at the beginning of the departments, from Manchac up to Kentwood, and I can go through the damages that these departments have incurred. Like we did earlier in the Manchac fire matters, the Manchac fire station hit flood. It took major damage. It's going to take some time to evaluate what we need to do with the station, what the board is looking to do with the station. But the insurance company, we are waiting on the insurance company to determine which way we go with this. And that's going to be on all of the stations. We have not got back any information from the insurance company. So Manchac, major damage to the building.
Do we have flood insurance?
It is covered, we are covered with it. So the next department that I go to is Ponchatoula. So the Ponchatoula Highway 22 East received minor damage. And when we say minor damage, it's cosmetic damage. The 22 West, it's got roof leaks. They have, so we're going to have some work done on the roof to repair that. The main problem is at the main station on Pine Street, the one right in town, it suffered major damage as far as mold, and the insurance company is recommending that we might have to consider a possible renting of a modular building to house the guys in, because there's so much mold in the station. I spoke to Chief Jordan this morning concerning it, and I advised that it's really not good you need to limit your time in the station. And he said that he takes 15 minutes to do what he needs to do in the morning. But the guys is the main concern with health hazards of breathing in the mold spores. So what I would like the board to grant is give me permission. We did it before when the station flooded. We rented a modular building. And then we had to carry a rider on our insurance to cover that building. So I'd like to see if the board would grant me the permission to go ahead and seek a proposal or seek a building that we can station out the main station on Pine Street, so the guys can have a place to stay in.
Is that going to have living quarters in it?
Yes, sir. It's just like going to be the last time. It was a nice little building that they came out. They set it up. They hooked into their sewer system, the power, everything.
I think it needs to be done.
They
do everything?
Well, so you're saying that now we're gonna have to wait another month before it comes in for us to approve the price, or you want us?
Give me permission to do this.
It would be under emergency powers.
Yes.
Okay,
To give me the permission to go ahead and get that building ordered and get it out there as soon as possible.
Okay, so
They do the sewer, electric, everything?
I'll make that motion.
motion by Ms. Coates.
Second here.
By Ms. Hyde. To give the administrator the authority to proceed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Grappia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Call over.
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgell? Mr. Wells?
Yeah.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Yes. Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Motion passes and it's so on.
Okay. The next department that I go to is the 8th Ward Fire Department. I spoke to the chief. He is reporting no damage to either of one of his stations. The Hammond Rural Baptist Station, same thing. He is reporting no damage. The Natalbany, we go on to the Natalbany Fire Department. The little station out on 1064, it is no damage. The main station, which belongs to the Natalbany Fire Department, they sustained substantial roof damage on the building. So that's something that belongs to the Natalbany, and they are handling that claim. We go into the Independence Fire Department. The Red Hill station, it's got moderate damage. It blew in the doors of the overhead doors. It blew in the doors, so the station is open. There's no doors on it. It also sustained roof damage. So we're waiting on, again, the insurance company to tell us which way we can go with that. The No-Tow station, no damage. The 2 stations that are in town, these are reporting no damage. Go to La Rondra. We mentioned about the East Cooper station, that's a total loss. The station's gone. The one on Highway 40, Justin, the Highway 40 station, it's got moderate damage. It's got roof damage to it. The one on Firehouse Road has got minor roof damage. On Justin's, the main station, it does have substantial, I have it as listed as moderate. It is substantial roof damage. It is got leaks throughout the building now. So that's going to have to be addressed. The North Cooper station, again, that's another one with roof damage. The Hustler station, the one on 445 has got moderate damage to the doors have been blown in. He's got damage throughout the building as far as water leaks, through the roof damage. So we have to deal with that. Same thing with that. I did speak to the Chief Vernon, as far as mold issues, there's none right now. Okay. The Baileyville station has got minor damage to the building. It was a tree that hit the kind of corner of the rear corner of the building. So we do have some damage to that one. The Unitas station is major damage where a tree had went through the station. So that's something that we have to look at and see what the insurance company's going to do. Wilmer and Kentwood, they're reporting no damage to their buildings. So that is the 10 fire departments in the district.
The ones with the trees through, did any of the trucks get damaged too, or is it more just the buildings?
Fortunately, at the one in La Rondra, it did not damage the truck. The one in Hustle,
Our computer room got damaged, where the camera and the equipment room got damaged, but, it's just one of them things.
But pretty much the trucks are good.
So as far as vehicle damage, we don't have any vehicle damage, luckily. The only damage that I know of is Chief Coxon, the big boat, did sustain some damage to the windshield, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, minor damage. So we were fortunate in that we didn't lose any vehicles or anything like that, or have damage to them.
I don't buy that truck in Ryan.
You would see that station.
Get out of there without scratch.
Yeah, we looked
saw
at
it, it was,
I have pictures of y'all.
Yeah, it was
I figured it was.
crazy that truck was not damaged at all. So that's the damage to the stations. One of the things I wanted to bring up was during, and that's the paper I passed out to y'all, during Hurricane Ida, from 8/29 to 9/3, this is a list of calls that came through 911 to show you how busy these departments were. They had in those, between 8/29 to 9/3, there's a total of 2,153 calls that came in that they handled. So if you look at it, it is broke down by categories. So these guys were really busy. I mean, they did a tremendous job in handling that type of workload. So the other thing that I would want to bring up is there were some issues that we encountered during the aftermath of trying to regroup and trying to get fuel to people and trying to get generators to people. We had 4 stations that lost their generators. That's the Wilma Station, the Hammond Rural Paul Calora Station, 8th Ward Station, and the Talbany Station. Now, we sent in requests through GOSEP, through our EOC, and they followed the procedure. It took Chief 6 days, to get your station, I mean, your generator, it took him 6 days to get his generator. Chief went and bought some portable generators, so at least they can operate with their radios and refrigerators and whatnot, but he ended up buying, I think, 2 portables or 4 portables.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's only about 2 of them.
Yeah, so he ended up buying portable generators so he can at least operate his station. So we did have some issues on generators. There was asked whether or not these generators were on maintenance. Yes, they were all on maintenance programs. It's just that,
What kind of generators are they? Natural gas, propane?
well, some of them are natural gas, some of them are propane. So we had, it took 6 days for Chief Calora to get the generators sent in from GoSouth.
We're still waiting on a mechanic to come figure out. We tried it, we're back on the LPL now, ended it. And, once we got back, waited a couple of days, and I threw the switch, and the generator ran for a little while, and then it tapped. So, something's wrong with the generator.
So, one of the things, and look, this is something that I'd like to explore, is as the fire district, to try to be, you know, it really, there's nothing against Dawson and Vicky, they did an excellent job. It's where they went to the state level, where it took 6 days for them to get a generator. That's crazy. You know, that station cannot do that. I'm gonna ask the board, and I kind of looked into being able to purchase generators through the federal surplus in that region. They have them, I looked at them. There's all kinds, there's 250 kW generators, there's 150 kW generators, and the prices vary from $2,500 up to $7,500. Now, I know as a district, we can't buy 10 of them. But if we can explore into purchasing maybe 2 this year, maybe 2 next year, that we don't have to wait 6 days in the event this happens again to get the chief some power or whatever station it is to get them some power. We're hiring an electrician to come, hook up that generator, and they're good to go.
So these will be mobile?
They're on trailers. They're on trailers. So it is something that I'd like to explore, and I'd like the board to give me permission to get some more information to look into this matter.
We have them for backup.
To have them as a backup. And look, I understand we can't buy 10.
So you're suggesting when we buy some and
Having
have
them
them on
back.
standby
Have them.
instead of each department having their own?
Well, no, they don't have their own generators.
On standby.
Yes, they have their generators, but just like everybody else, their own whole generator, and all 4 went down. In the event that they go down, we can, I'm sorry.
Where would you keep?
We can house them, look, we can find places to house them. I will find places to house them. There's apartments that we can ask, they can be houses at your station, and I'm sure they have the room for it.
My
So it is something,
concern would be to buy a used, older generator that's surplus, somebody else is getting rid of it, and then how long is it gonna sit before we need it?
so what we would do before we even looked into making a purchase on one, we would send a mechanic, and I'll have him accompany and go inspect it, and to make sure that the generator is worthwhile. We can make these generators, just like the parish has them. The parish has the portable generators that's on trailers. They were just given out to other entities.
Yeah.
The hospital got some, wherever they went, they never went to the fire district and to the fire station. So I'm looking to see what can we do so we don't encounter these type of problems in the future.
I know what you're saying, and I think it's a good solution. I just don't know that we need to purchase it and it be owned by Fire District 2 and not at the request of each individual department. In other words, if Kentwood wants another standby generator,
They can go buy them.
they can go buy one.
Sure.
If my school wants to go buy one.
Some other one.
I feel like we're making a decision for all 10.
Well, no.
Because we think we need to stand by the generator.
We could have a solution for the other departments, not making a decision, we have a solution in the event that something happens.
I'm just saying, we have 2, and then we have 3 departments that need it, then what do we do?
Well, look, at least that's one less that, we'll have 2 that we don't have to request.
I think.
Look, it's not a
I'm
problem
just saying,
solution.
I want to, I'm just saying.
It's not a perfect solution, but it is part of the solution.
Trent, what he's saying,
Presented
sir,
for everybody else.
yeah, but what he's saying is this. Doing I really think our fire departments were not treated with the same sense of urgency as the police and the hospital. I believe that's my opinion. If we had, you would have gotten what you wanted. Now, what he's saying is though, it's GoSep was the problem when he requested those generators. They were slow in getting them to us. Have another emergency, where you have to go to GoSep again, you got the same problem. So he's saying the solution is to take care of our own selves, is what you're saying in essence.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what you need to do is write Jim Watson a letter to let him know how slow they were getting them over here.
We will.
And, I mean, I don't know, it wasn't Dawson or Vicky, it was,
Look, I want to make that clear.
yeah.
It wasn't at our level, the parish level, Dawson or Dickey or our EOC, but when the orders went in, the well EOC request went in, it took 6 days for them to get the.
That's
What
unacceptable.
was the reason for 6 days?
Because they probably had thousands of requests.
Good, Chief.
We ordered it was like the second day we was having trouble. It was running for a while and quit, running for a while and quit.
That's not.
Called in, called, Dawson, 50, put the car in, and then I think it was Thursday night, during the week, Representative Week, Councilman Week called my assistant chief, wanted to know if we needed anything. And we told him the story about the generator. 10 o'clock the next morning, the generator was sitting there.
Yeah, see.
Now, I don't know whether we had anything to do with it or it was a natural process, but I don't think the Dawson and them is getting the attention they require. They put the order in, but I don't think they have the pressure points to get it moving, because I talked to the guys that put it in the generator, they said they've been sitting on their ass for 3 days doing
Yes.
this. Got 25 generators sitting in a lot, waiting on people to tell them where to put them.
Right.
Did they say that? Didn't say
Yeah, we need to look
that.
at getting
The
the
generator
contact
was sitting
there.
there, the paperwork was all bogged down.
But look, again, it wasn't at Vicky or Dawson, or our EOC level, it was not. So I want to make that perfectly clear, that I'm not dogging them, it was higher up. It was 6 days.
I'm not talking to them either.
Right.
They were going through their roads.
They did
But
what
I
I
think they
see.
know that their roads need to be streamlined a little bit, some kind of way.
Yeah.
So, that's just something, again, it's something that I'm looking at.
Maybe that's something we ought to really
I
get.
think it's.
Okay, I'd like to make a suggestion.
What you,
Oh,
Tim?
Go ahead.
John?
The generator, when they went bad, was it the motor part, or was it the generator parts, or was it both?
I actually think, my theory is, mine wasn't getting enough gas, and there was not enough gas in the main
In the main,
Okay.
to supply all the generators running.
Yeah.
But since Katrina,
Yeah.
everybody and their brother got a generator.
Yeah, you're right.
And they never, until this time, did they all crank at one time. Ours would run, and then it would start spitting and sputtering like a machine running out of fuel.
Uh-huh.
And then it would, we crank it back up, and it might run 30 minutes, it might run 2 hours.
Makes
I know
sense.
It
exactly.
starts running bad. And so we were air conditioning.
There was a lot of propane and natural gas generators went down.
Right.
I'm telling you,
I know about that.
if you're gonna do a generator of that size, you need to get one with a self-contained tank and do a diesel generator.
right, that's what I was, exactly what I'm.
Because the fuel situation, we can work through that. Now, we can get the fuel, but if you want the generator to perform, everybody that I talked to said, you gotta get away from that propane and go to a diesel generator.
The issue you have with that is having diesel in the tank for 5 years.
No, but
You don't
see,
want it all now.
now what they do, Paul, the tank is self-contained under, it's in the belly of the generator. And those tanks in there are lined. So all you do is you put a little stabilizer in them, your generator's gonna kick on just like you have now. And you're gonna have to add fuel periodically all through the time that generator's there. But you can, I know with us, the people that had diesel generators, they never had a liver problem. The ones that had those darn natural gas and propanes, After about 2 or 3 days, they started going down.
Yeah, all over.
And it didn't matter what side, it was from the little one to the big one, you
They don't
know?
put out near the power either,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the gas or diesel will.
All right, thank you. I'm there, and
The gas lines, y'all know how long they've been down to. They're only operating off like 3 to 5 pounds, some of them 8 on the main. When you start turning on 50 and 60 generators, your pressure is gonna be, less, and that causes the fluctuation in the
Yeah.
budget.
Yes.
okay, we'll be back on.
Who are you?
I'm a solid one.
Go ahead then.
Because state law, we're required not to have natural gas because it's an unreliable source by state framework.
Okay.
When we built our building 16 years ago,
Uh-huh.
we have a 250-gallon diesel tank under our generator. It has never not started and has never stopped once it's started.
Okay.
We don't have a
And
good.
probably those generators at Federal Supply, I guarantee you most of those are diesel generators.
They are diesel generators.
All right, we started with, Dennis gave us an update, so which direction y'all like?
So I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there any way, because we've talked about this over and over, of trying to get grant money? Is there any program we can go after and try to get some grant money to get some generators?
Probably to buy, maybe we can look into it to purchase new ones. It's a possibility.
Can we explore
We can
that?
explore that, absolutely we can.
Then, like Trent's saying, going out and kind of spending and then we kind of shuffling and not knowing if we really need to.
The boats. We purchased, several years ago, we purchased some rescue boats.
Yes.
Does that money come from the individual department, or did we do the same thing where the fire district 2 purchased?
No, the money came from the boats, that came from Firehouse Subs, who granted us.
And then the other one, we.
That's all for rescue purposes.
So this won't be the first time we purchased something.
No.
And look, I don't know if y'all don't mind, I'll call, Julia Letlow and see maybe if she can make a phone call to federal property. We may can get 3 or 4 of those generators, donated to us.
All right,
And I'll give her a call tomorrow,
Okay.
but in the meantime, I'd like to give Dennis the authority to look into it and then report back to us. Can't hurt.
Look, it's not, it's part of a solution.
And look, if any of the departments want one, and we can get them, hey, if they want one, we can let them get one on their own.
They are there. I went to the website, looked at them, they are there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
If you talk to Julia Letlow, when she responds, let Dennis know, he can send all of us an email.
I'll give her a call in the morning, and in the meantime, I'll make a motion to give Dennis the authority to explore the generators at federal properties and report back to us.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Bruno.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Brooker.
All right?
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Okay, the motion
So,
passes.
one of the other issues that we were having was fuel issues. So we ran into where the fuel was being distributed to other places. Some of the fire departments were having issues of getting fuel towards the middle end of it. They ended up getting a truck to come around to the stations to fuel up their engines, their generators. But in the beginning, first couple of days, it was really hectic and trying to talk about getting fuel to the fire departments. There was some issues that we encountered. What I would like to do is to look into it as far as the fire district in the event that we have, another hurricane or another incident that would require us to go out and obtain fuel, that we can do something just like the parish did. The parish went out and got fuel, and they have a contract. They had the truck run around to all of the stations and fill up the stations and engine the generators and whatnot, I'd like to look into something like that so we don't have to argue about trying to get fuel for our firemen. It was really some issues that I encountered to try to help these firemen out. And I did run into some resistance.
All right, let's look into that and bring us back some options.
Okay?
Y'all okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. What, anything else?
That, as far as administration report, that is all.
Thank you.
What, Dennis?
Oh, wait, I do have one, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Some good news is that the Hustle Chief, and they applied for a federal grant. They were awarded a grant of over $300,000, $312,000 to purchase a new tanker truck. So we're going through the process, they are going through the process right now to try to get the paperwork in line, and I hope to have it at the next meeting to present to the board to go ahead and proceed with this purchase of the new tanker truck, purchased with grant money from the federal government for Hustle.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Gail.
Thank you.
I want to comment on that. I'm just telling y'all now, I was just sitting there eating my Cheerios and I let Ethan do all.
Anything else, Dennis?
Look, we want to keep praying for Chief Stafford though.
Okay.
It's already Chief.
I'm going to accept the administrative report.
Motion by Mr. Bruno, and second by Mr. Lewis, accept the administrative report.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Grappia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Dial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Let me say this, Dennis. I know for a fact that the fire departments, these guys that did a tremendous job of doing Hurricane Ida. Some of them even went into a life-threatening situation to save people, and those kind of things I read in the newspaper, but I know for a fact that they did do a great job, and when you're working on a job 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, man, it's tough. You know, guys leave their own families, so they have other people, just like being in the military. So I want to commend them for this.
Absolutely, all of the departments need to be
All of them.
on the work that they've done.
Okay, anything else?
I'd like to mention too, Stormy's dad passed away during the storm, and he was a fireman for many years, fire chief, and so just continue to remember their family.
Yeah, Chief, we did a moment of silence, I think, didn't we, in honor of his dad? I did. Yeah, we did, guys. Okay, anything else?
The only thing I can say is, along with that good job, each one of them gained 5 to 10, man.
We did.
Because they ate pretty darn well.
They said
I'm even looking at Paul, got food.
You know what they say? They say speak for yourself.
What you got, Mr. Durham?
Again, if I may, again, with the other responders, I would like to give credit to the ladies who work at 911.
They dispatched us.
Not only the 2,500, but during that same time period, they took 5,343 calls, many of which, like normal dispatchers, they sat there worrying when people called back, wondering where the help was, when the help wasn't coming, and trying to explain why, when the responders stopped responding. And also, it was just a bunch of calls, even fire service did not go through. It was just regular police calls, things such as that.
Can I ask you what you were doing during that time?
Most of the time trying to stay out of their way, honestly, or cooking or running errands.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see if you had an answer.
I have an honest answer, an honest answer.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
I just, something after the fact, I thought of it. I know we got a lot of stinks and damage. I would like to see if there's any way we could share this contractor list. If we get contractors out, so maybe we can get different ones to bid on different parts of the building structures and stuff.
Dale, good luck.
Yeah, they stressed out, man.
And it is terrible out there.
Still, don't you have to amend your team?
Yeah, I'm asking the board to amend the agenda to add And with emphasis on getting the administrative assistant since our secretary resigned.
Also, no.
I'll
Motion
second.
is aye.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Diaz. Roll call.
Mr. Forrest?
Mr. Could you repeat that? I didn't hear what you
We're looking for a replacement for Christian since she's resigned. And we need some guidelines on how we're gonna do that.
Say yes.
Oh, you don't wanna do this, David.
Get hired. Get hired.
I made a motion and
Second here.
Richard?
Second here.
Okay, all right, roll call.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
This is
Okay. Bridget, let's go with it. You want us to discuss it?
Okay, so Miss Jenny retired, she was our treasurer, and our secretary is resigning, so we're kind of looking at going in a different direction and actually having somebody who would be in the office within us 3 days a week. They would basically work 24 hours in the office, and then they would have to do the meetings, take the minutes, and we kind of put together a little
Rough draft.
just requirements of what we're looking for. We can look back over this if y'all want to, we can adopt it tonight.
Would they be part-time?
Yes, 24
Yeah.
hours, 24 hours a week.
Joe, what we're gonna do, we're gonna separate the duties of the council clerk and the administrative secretary, I guess.
So this will be a separate standalone.
And the 2,400 that we were paying the other two ladies will be enough to cover the 3 days a week for this position, so the Fireboard will not be paying any more money.
We wouldn't have to do benefits and all that, would we? We could-
Probably won't even be that much.
we
Yeah,
wouldn't have to
let's
do
discuss that later.
Correct, not on the part.
Health insurance or anything.
Right, I got you.
So this person is gonna do the treasurer part and the administrative part?
Yes.
That's what we're saying?
And the meeting.
And the
And the meeting?
There really isn't a treasurer needed. We have our accountant that handles all of that.
Yeah, basically, that's, the treasurer's all handled by,
Yeah,
But they would be in the office 3 days a week in EOC with Dennis to assist in, anything he needed, anything we needed.
yeah. Okay, any questions?
I make a motion to allow Dennis to start interviewing some people and seeing who we might have out there.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bruno, seconded by
second here.
Mr. Vial. Roll call.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yeah.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Okay, Dennis,
All right,
and we'd like to see those recommendations.
absolutely.
Okay, any other comments?
I have none.
Mr. Wells?
Wait a minute. I cap off to all the fire chiefs for their job well done.
Well, you did a great job.
Good job, man. You guys did do a great job, though, I'm serious. Thank you all. Motion. Meeting adjourned. Oh, one thing, hold on, y'all, one second. Carlo, I'm sorry.
What?
My mistake. I want to thank Robin for always being a genuine, wherever we need you, she's always here. Thank you.